All right, loved ones. I'm filming this video on the 25th of March. This is session 0 for both sections of 4234, Intermediate Entrepreneurship. This won't surprise you. In terms of both content and timing, those two sections are identical, so there's absolutely no reason for me to have two videos on any platform. So there'll be one video for the rest of the semester for both sections of 4234. I would also imagine that this session 0 video will be relatively short. I just have what are essentially some more administrative things to deal with, but these are specific to your class. They don't impact the other classes that I'm teaching. So I want to talk to you first about Folio. I posted a couple of documents today, and it's likely you've already seen them. One that may be significant is a couple of my kids approached me and left town not knowing that they would not be returning for the rest of the semester. So they left some of their resources here, textbooks and things like that. That presents an enormous problem if you find yourself in that situation. So this wasn't particularly clever, but I took my instructor's book and I photocopied chapter 7, roughly 15 pages. You will see if you look at page numbers that there are a few pages missing. They are non-essential. They have schedules or whatever the case may be. So chapter 7 in its entirety is posted on Folio, and the point for doing that is that it gives you an excellent framework for writing the critique of the Palmer Safety System business plan. Now, Folio also is going to be central to everything we do for the rest of the semester. I'll be posting messages there. You'll be submitting assignments through Dropbox. So it's critical on many dimensions. So we have this duality. I'll be presenting a lot of content on this YouTube channel, but Folio will still be a significant part of what we do. So I urge you to check it on a regular basis. Now, everything that follows today in terms of me delivering content or exercises or whatever the case may be will be guided by the syllabus. We're going to do those tasks in that sequence, whatever that may mean. Still on the discussion briefly of Folio, I'm going to add a grade book. It has been my habit, actually for most of my career, to grade exercises and return them to you within a few days. And you have the actual physical copy with the grade and whatever notes I might have shared. But I don't have that option. So as you know, because I spoke to this in the Rules of Engagement video, I've created Dropbox folders for every assignment that you'll have to turn in. And once you do that, of course, I'll grade them and I'll put grades up on the gradebook function of Folio. I'm on it. I haven't had a chance to get it functional yet. I will do that soon. It won't surprise you to hear that other things have higher priority. It is critical that I get video sessions up for what would be our classes and assignments and that sort of stuff. So gradebook will be in place soon, but it's not there yet. I want to talk about a new topic, midterms. As I speak to you, I can't remember if we have 2 remaining or 1 remaining. But there will be a new format. Obviously, I can't in any way administer a multiple choice test online, short of having a proctoring function, and we are not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create midterm exams. I haven't done it yet. They will be short essays. My thinking is that I may write 5 essay questions, and the answers to each of them would all be short, but I will only ask you to answer 3 or 4. So that's kind of my thinking. I may write exams that have 5 essay questions, and I'll give you specific instructions, but you'll only have to answer 3 or 4. Of course, these tests will be open book, open note, because I can't control any other testing mechanism. I want to remind you, though, that it's an individual task. I do not want to find out that y'all got on some sort of a groupie chat and made this a team event. These exams are individual. And as I mentioned a moment ago, there's a Dropbox folder created for each assignment that you'll have to turn in. Rocket fuel. I want to talk to you briefly about critical thinking exercises. We have 2 that remain in our class. They're both individual. My intention is, and I think this will work successfully, is I'm going to present these things in video sessions. If you look on our syllabus, they would be sessions, class meetings 24 and 30. And then you'll develop a solution and send it to me. Now, I'm in a classroom for 100 reasons, but not the least of which is I don't think that I can competently deliver any sort of education to you without access to a whiteboard. You know my habits. I put models on the board, I develop concepts on the board. I will sometimes use it to organize a framework for discussions. Sometimes I simply demonstrate things on the board, but I don't think, effectively teach without a whiteboard. Moreover, I'm sensitive to the fact that many of you are visual learners. You learn better if you see something rather than if you simply hear it. So between the bias for many of you to be visual learners and my own thoughts on what makes an effective teacher, at least what makes me an effective teacher, I have to have a whiteboard. In fact, I don't anticipate the university shutting down buildings and that sort of thing, but if it happens, I've already arranged with 2 off-campus locations. These are businesses that will give me access to conference rooms that have whiteboards, because as long as I have an iPad and I can upload these videos later in the day, I'm in a good place. So those are the thoughts on critical thinking exercises. As I've done in the past, I'll put a set of facts on the board. I will make the task to you very clear, very specific, and then I will turn you loose to develop a solution and send it in to me. Now, I'd like to talk to you about a new format for what would be our traditional class meetings. You know this because we have history, we have time together. The syllabus, or syllabi for both of these classes, would describe many of our class meetings as being L&D, lecture and discussion. What I hope to do always is lead an interactive discussion. I introduce concepts, we explore them together, and then you later assimilate them and find out how to apply them. So every class that is presented in the syllabus as lecture and discussion will be presented in this very sort of a format. I'll be in some sort of a classroom setting with a whiteboard, and I will make a presentation to you as if you were in the room. I mentioned in the rules of engagement video that I miss the interaction terribly for a lot of reasons. It helps guide my teaching. If I can see people connected, that's beneficial to me. If I see that 1,000-yard stare and people are struggling, that permits me to adjust what I'm doing. The second thing I would say to you about this new class format, these video presentations that I'll be recording, I'm going to target these presentations, these video sessions, to be a max of about 30 minutes. I may discover that I can't do that in every case, but that's my objective, is to try to make these things 30 minutes. That means that it's generally a very discreet and easily manageable time commitment for you. And the last thing about these traditional classes being converted, these video sessions will follow the same sequence as shown in the syllabus, because every class date has parenthetically a number beside it, and that will be the session videos. If we're working on session 23, that's how the video will be entitled. We will deal with the material that the syllabus sets forth for session 23, if that were the case. New topic, end of semester. We are, last week of course was spring break, and it's now Wednesday of the week that follows it. That is a release week for you, and the faculty were asked to work like crazy people to convert our face-to-face seminars to an online format. Happy to do it. You deserve it, and more. But we as faculty were uncertain about the end of the semester. Obviously, we were all deprived of this week in terms of class meetings, and we assumed that the Board of Regents would push off the end of the semester a week. We got an email today that suggests that the university is planning on having a virtual graduation ceremony on the very day that was originally planned. I think those days are May 8th and 9th, but that's unimportant. So it appears that the end of the spring semester has not been pushed off, but that it will follow the original schedule that we had in place when we began the semester. If there, of course, is any change, I'll let you know, but I just wanted to talk to you briefly about the end of semester. We naively assumed that it would be pushed off. It appears that it will not be, that we'll stick to the original schedule. New topic. We have one PowerPoint presentation remaining. It would be session 29, video session 29. What I plan to do is in a classroom, literally pull the PowerPoint presentation that's loaded with folio up and just use that as discussion points and walk through it as if you were in the room with me. I would suggest, I don't know if this is possible, and if it isn't, that's not fatal. If you can, print the PowerPoint presentation before that video session 29. And the reason I would want you to do that is you can have the slide deck to make notes on. That makes it pretty efficient. But if you can't, that's fine. There's nothing fatal there. The adventure continues. Business plan critique. Big stuff for this intermediate class in entrepreneurship. I mentioned a few moments ago that earlier today I posted chapter 7 of our textbook of Spinelli and Adams. And I did that because I wanted you to have that resource. If you took it home with you, great. If you didn't, that hardship doesn't exist. You can access it on folio and just view it or print it or abstract it or do whatever you need to do. It's about 15 pages in length, and the reason it's there is chapter 7 should be an excellent framework for you to write a critique of the Palmer Safety Systems business plan. It tells you what should be there, how it should be developed, that sort of a thing. So it should be a really, really good platform for you to write the critique. Topic 11. The last day of our scheduled class for this semester, I don't remember what date it is, but it's literally the last day of class that was scheduled. The syllabus says open forum. I still intend to make that same presentation to you. What I'm going to do is I've developed a presentation just for my upper division kids, primarily 4,000 level classes, but some 3, like leadership, for example. I have a presentation to share with you called Transitions, and it speaks to what happens when you leave the university, some of the important challenges and decisions you'll have to make. And I don't tell you what to do, I'm not that arrogant, but I'm going to share perspective because I think it will provoke you to think about some really important things. For example, cost of living if you're going to accept a job. Do not ever take a job in California. You simply can't afford to live there. Besides that, they're all crazy people anyway. But that's a separate. So what I intend to do on this open forum, what would have been our last day of class, I'll make it a video presentation just as I am today. And I'll be putting a whole bunch of stuff on the whiteboard, and I hope that you get significant benefit out of it. So that hasn't changed. I want to make one comment about the YouTube channel that you're on now. I think I made a good decision. You know, time will demonstrate that I either did or that I swung and missed. But I think YouTube, for its accessibility, for the fact that you can use any kind of a device, for its reliability, there seems to be a lot of virtue to using YouTube for me to deliver this material to you. But there are 2 things I want to mention about the channel. I've discovered that when I record, that I can't in any way alter the volume on the video. I can't soften it or strengthen it. So I'm certainly hoping that you can. When I viewed the rules of engagement video on I remember if I was at home or at the office, but when I actually viewed the video, it seemed to me that the volume was soft, and I cranked up my speaker as far as I could. What I'm saying to you is when I record, I have no control over the volume. I'm hopeful that you at your device, when you're viewing these things, will be able to do just that. I also want to point out on the YouTube channel, at least for the next few weeks, I expect to be adding content daily. All of us, unless we were already teaching online, those of us who are teaching face-to-face seminars are doing a lot of heavy lifting, and there's no complaint there. It's just a great deal of work to convert these classes to an online format. When we have, I guess, arguably 5 weeks left in the semester. If we were having this conversation in December, we could have started prepared, but this is, it's adaptation, it's life. We don't control so many things, and we simply have to assess what's going on and develop an idea of what our resources are, and then look at a set of probable solutions and pick the best one and implement it. So together, you and I are doing that thing that frankly predicts success in life. I don't know if I've shared that with you, but if I had the power, if I had the power, I would gift all of you with adaptation, the ability to recognize that there's so many things we don't control. We simply have to literally make the best. So new content daily, sure, at least for a couple of weeks. I'm not saying you have to toggle in daily, but I do not want you to get behind. I mentioned that on the rules of engagement video. Please don't let this stuff languish. Don't think that you can play catch up, because that's a dangerous place to be. The last thing I want to talk to you about today in this session 0 video is I want to talk to you about the final exam. As we learned today, the university intends to keep the original graduation and end of semester dates the same as if we hadn't lost this week that we're experiencing right now. So for that and for other reasons, I've decided to waive your final exam. Those of you who are taking 4234 from me this spring, both sections, there will not be a final exam, not of any sort. That is my decision. If the provost is angry with me, we can duel or something, whatever the provost would like to do. Because I'm changing that, because I'm throwing out the final, I'm going to change the grade scale to reflect that decision. My sense is, and the truth is, if I had the autonomy to do this anyway, those of you in this class would not have a final. And the reason I say that is you have this major project, this business plan critique, which spans several weeks. It should integrate your knowledge, the stuff that you've gained and captured in this class. It permits you to demonstrate that understanding of those concepts. So in my view, any sort of a major project like that is integrative is sufficient for a final exam. However, our provosts in my time here have always insisted, no matter who you were, that we give a final exam in the final exam period. But that is, I am relaxing that standard for you this semester. Those of you in intermediate entrepreneurship with me will not have a final. And again, there are a variety of reasons, but right now I'm in charge in terms of making that decision and accountable. All right, I love you. As I said, there will be content posted daily. The next thing that I put up for intermediate entrepreneurship will be, literally, it'll be an active class presentation. It'll be a video session that takes the place of what would have been a face-to-face meeting. So, love you, and be safe, and I will talk to you soon.